The silence hit me like a punch to the gut. I walked into the server room Monday morning expecting the usual symphony of humming fans and clicking drives, but instead got dead air. That room had been my second home for 8 years, the place where I kept the financial heartbeat of Southwest Construction Solutions pumping strong. Without that system running smooth, 12,000 construction workers across Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, and Colorado don't see a dime on Friday. And when construction workers don't get paid, they don't just file complaints. They park their equipment and walk off the job. I'm Ryan Mitchell, 49 years old, and I've been running the payroll backend here since this company was barely half its current size. My job is making sure everyone from concrete pourers in Houston to crane operators in Phoenix gets their check on time, every time. It's not glamorous work, but it's honest work that keeps families fed and mortgages paid. Let me tell you something about construction payroll that those MBA textbooks don't cover. These guys work in conditions that would make office workers cry. They're pouring concrete when it's 115 degrees in Phoenix, working overtime when ice storms knock out power lines, climbing steel beams 20 stories up with nothing but a harness between them and the pavement. They earn every penny they make, and they sure deserve to get it on time. The system I built and maintain isn't some fancy cloud solution you see in sales brochures. It's a beast built on legacy SQL databases, custom scripts, and 8 years worth of patches and modifications that I've applied with the precision of a master mechanic working on a vintage Mustang. I know every quirk, every workaround, every potential failure point. When Arizona changed their prevailing wage laws last year, I rewrote the calculation engine in 3 days flat. When OSHA updated reporting requirements, I built the compliance module from scratch while drinking coffee at 3 a.m. and listening to classic rock. You want to know how complex this stuff gets? Try calculating overtime for a crew that starts work in Texas Monday morning, moves to a job site in New Mexico Wednesday, then finishes the week in Colorado. Each state has different labor laws, different tax rates, different union rules. Factor in equipment rental time, hazard pay for working near chemical storage, and federal prevailing wages for government contracts. Stephanie's Excel spreadsheet was about to meet reality, and reality doesn't care about your pivot tables, but corporate sees it different. They see an old system that needs modernizing, and they see me as the guy standing in the way of progress. That's where Jason Bennett comes in. Jason is the VP of Operations, and more importantly, he's the new owner's nephew. 3 months ago, our company got bought out by Bennett Family Enterprises, a construction conglomerate that owns everything from cement plants to heavy equipment dealers. Jason rolled in with a mandate to streamline operations and eliminate redundancies. Translation: fire expensive people and replace them with cheaper solutions. I'd seen Jason around the office a few times. He's one of those guys who shows up to construction sites wearing a $500 suit and stays in his air-conditioned SUV while real workers sweat it out in the sun. Got his MBA from some big-name school and thinks every business problem can be solved with a PowerPoint presentation and buzzwords like digital transformation and operational efficiency. He's never spent a day actually working construction, never had to calculate overtime for emergency storm repair crews, never had to explain to a single mother why her paycheck is late because some system crashed. The meeting happened on a Tuesday afternoon. Jason called me into his office along with Jennifer Foster from HR. Jennifer's been here almost as long as I have, but she's always been more worried about protecting the company than protecting the people who actually do the work. She had that nervous energy you see in people who know bad news is coming, but have to deliver it with a smile. Jason's office looked like something from a corporate magazine: glass desk, leather chairs, and a window overlooking the equipment yard that he probably never actually looked at. He was tapping on his tablet when I walked in, making me wait while he finished whatever earth-shattering task required his immediate attention. "Ryan," Jason said, not bothering to look up from his screen, "we're restructuring the IT department, moving toward a more agile, cost-effective model." I sat down across from his desk. "What does that mean for payroll operations?" That's where it gets exciting. Jason finally looked at me, flashing one of those practice smiles. "I want you to meet my niece, Stephanie. She just finished her MBA, and she's developed an incredible solution that's going to revolutionize how we handle payroll. Here's the thing about family businesses: competence takes a back seat to bloodlines every single time." I'd seen it before at other companies, but I thought our operation was too critical for that kind of nonsense. I was wrong. Stephanie Bennett walked in like she owned the place, which through family connections she kind of did. She was maybe 25, wearing a business suit that probably cost more than most of our workers make in a week, carrying an iPad like it was the holy grail of business solutions. "Hi, Ryan," she said, extending a perfectly manicured hand. "I've been reviewing your processes, very thorough, but also very manual. I think we can do much better." The way she said manual made it sound like I was still using stone tablets and an abacus. "Better how?" I asked, though I had a sinking feeling I already knew where this was heading. Stephanie set her iPad on Jason's glass desk and started swiping through screens with the confidence of someone who'd never seen a real system crash and burn. "I've built a comprehensive payroll solution in Excel. It's cloud-based, it's intuitive, and it can handle all the calculations you're currently doing with those old SQL databases." I stared at her for a long moment. "Excel. You want to run payroll for 12,000 construction workers with a spreadsheet. Not just any spreadsheet," Stephanie said, getting a little defensive. "This has pivot tables, conditional formatting, automated macros. It's like having a database, but user-friendly. User-friendly. That's what they always say when they want to replace something that actually works with something that looks prettier. I've been in this business long enough to know that user-friendly usually means it works great until it doesn't, and then you're screwed because nobody understands what's happening under the hood." I looked at Jason, hoping to see some sign that he understood how insane this was. "Is this a joke?" "It's innovation, Ryan," Jason said, leaning back in his leather chair. "Stephanie's model can reduce processing time by 60% and cut our IT overhead significantly." There it was. Cut IT overhead? What they meant was they could fire me and pay Stephanie a fraction of my salary. I'd seen this movie before. Young MBA comes in, promises the world with some half-baked solution. Older employee gets shown the door, and then 6 months later they're begging the old guy to come back and fix the mess. "The payroll run is this Friday," I said, keeping my voice level. "Today is Tuesday. If you're planning to switch systems, you need to understand what you're dealing with. This isn't just adding up hours times hourly rates." I started counting off on my fingers. "We have prevailing wage calculations for government contracts. Union versus non-union, differentials that change based on project type and consecutive days worked. Equipment rental tracking that has to be cross-referenced with GPS data. OSHA compliance reporting. Multi-state tax withholdings where a guy can start the week in Texas and finish it in Colorado." Stephanie was nodding along like she was following, but I could see her eyes glazing over. She thought she understood because she'd read about payroll in some textbook. "I've accounted for all of that," she interrupted. "My model includes lookup tables for all state regulations and automated tax calculations." Lookup tables, Jesus. The Arizona prevailing wage database alone has 847 different job classifications with different rates depending on which county you're working in. The union contracts have overtime rules that would make a tax lawyer's head spin. You've got guys who get time and a half after 8 hours, double time after 12, but only if they're working on certain types of projects. Then you've got hazard pay that kicks in if they're working within 500 feet of chemical storage. But the rate changes based on what chemicals and how close they are. "Stephanie," I said, trying to keep the frustration out of my voice, "have you ever calculated prevailing wages for a federal highway project?" "I've studied the regulations," she said. Studying and doing are two different things. You know what happens when you get prevailing wages wrong on a federal contract? The Department of Labor comes in and audits everything. They can fine us for every hour that was calculated incorrectly going back 3 years. Jason waved his hand dismissively. "We'll have compliance reviews." Stephanie's model includes error checking in Excel, right? Like conditional formatting was going to catch it when some crew foreman in El Paso enters his time wrong, and Stephanie's lookup formula returns the wrong wage rate for 40 guys working a government job. "Ryan," Jennifer finally spoke up, "we'll need you to provide Stephanie with all necessary passwords and documentation for a smooth transition." Documentation? I actually laughed, but there was no humor in it. Most of the critical processes are in custom scripts I wrote over the past 8 years. The real knowledge isn't documented anywhere. It's in my head. That's the thing about systems that actually work in the real world. They're not built from textbooks. They're built by people who've been doing the job long enough to know where all the problems hide. I know that the time clock system in the Phoenix warehouse has a glitch where it sometimes double stamps entries after 11 p.m., but only on Wednesdays, and only if the network load is high. I know that the union contract for the concrete crews has a clause about meal breaks that nobody else remembers. But if you don't account for it, the guys don't get their meal penalty pay. Stephanie doesn't know any of that. She's got her pretty spreadsheet with color-coded cells and fancy formulas, but she's never had to explain to a 6'4" crane operator named Big Tony why his paycheck is $300 short because some calculation went sideways. "Then we'll need you to document everything before you go," Jason said, and that's when I knew for sure they'd already made their decision. They weren't asking for my input or trying to understand why their plan was doomed. They were giving me my walking papers and expecting me to train my replacement. "When's my last day?" I asked. "Friday," Jason said. "After the payroll run, we want to ensure a smooth transition. And if the transition isn't smooth?" I asked. Stephanie jumped in again. "It will be. I've tested my model extensively. On what data? Sample data from the HR system, plus some theoretical scenarios. Sample data, theoretical scenarios." She tested her revolutionary payroll solution on make-believe numbers. It was like testing a race car by driving it around a parking lot at 5 mph and then assuming it would handle the Indy 500. I stood up, my knees popping the way they do when you've been sitting too long or when you're about to make a decision you know you'll either regret or celebrate later. "All right then," I said. "I guess we'll see how it goes." "That's the spirit," Jason said, already looking back at his tablet. "Jennifer will have your severance paperwork ready by end of business." I walked toward the door, then stopped and turned back to Stephanie. "One piece of advice." She looked up from her iPad, probably expecting some technical tip about database connections or file formats. "When this crashes," I said, "and it will crash, don't panic. Just remember that 12,000 people are counting on their paychecks to pay rent and buy groceries. That might help you prioritize." The look on her face told me she still didn't get it. She thought this was just numbers on a screen. She had no idea she was about to be responsible for people's lives. I didn't argue anymore. Sometimes the best teacher is experience, and Stephanie was about to get an education that no MBA program could provide. The next 3 days were like watching a slow-motion car crash that you know is coming but can't stop. I spent Wednesday and Thursday doing exactly what they asked, documenting everything I could think of, creating user guides, writing step-by-step instructions. But here's the thing about complex systems that have evolved over 8 years. You can't document institutional knowledge. You can't write down the gut feeling you get when something doesn't look right, or the instinct that tells you to double-check a calculation because it seems off by just enough to matter. Stephanie shadowed me those 2 days, taking notes on her iPad and asking questions that showed she had no clue what she was getting into. "Why do you manually verify the Arizona wage classifications?" she asked Wednesday morning as I ran through the pre-payroll checks. "Because the state database has been corrupted since 2019, I explained. It shows the right wage rates, but about 3% of the job classifications return wrong county codes. If you don't catch it, guys working in Phoenix get paid Tucson rates, which is about $4 an hour difference. Can't we just fix the database? It's a state system. We don't control it. We just have to work around it." She made a note on her iPad. I could see her typing "fix state database issue" like that was something she could handle with a phone call. Thursday afternoon, Stephanie was feeling confident enough to start importing real data into her Excel model. I watched her upload the raw time files from our 47 different job sites across 4 states. The spreadsheet immediately started lagging. "It's just loading," she said, clicking refresh repeatedly while Excel churned through 12,000 employee records, but I could see what was happening. Her lookup formulas were hitting circular references because she didn't understand how prevailing wage calculations cascade. When you've got federal, state, and local wage requirements that can all apply to the same job, you can't just use a simple VLOOKUP. You need conditional logic that checks multiple criteria in a specific order. "Stephanie," I said carefully, "you might want to test that on a smaller data set first. It'll be fine," she replied, but I could hear the uncertainty creeping into her voice as Excel's memory usage spiked and the program started freezing. Friday morning came, and it was time for the official handoff. Stephanie showed up early with her laptop and the kind of nervous energy you see in rookie drivers before their first NASCAR race. "Ready to make history?" she asked, trying to sound confident. I gathered my personal items while she set up at my workstation, coffee mug, photo of my fishing boat, and a bottle of decent bourbon I kept for emergencies. Seemed appropriate to take it with me. Something told me they'd be needing it more than I would. "The bank cutoff for direct deposits is noon," I reminded her. "After that, people don't get paid until Monday." "Got it," Stephanie said, already focused on her screen, where Excel was grinding through the payroll data like a wood chipper trying to process a telephone pole. I started to leave, then stopped. Stephanie, one more thing. When this goes sideways, and it will go sideways, don't try to fix it by running the calculations again. Each time you reprocess, you create duplicate entries in the system. Fix the problem first, then rerun. She wasn't really listening. She was staring at her screen where the spreadsheet was showing error values in about half the cells. Jennifer walked me to the security desk where Scott Walsh was waiting with my severance paperwork. Scott's a good guy, ex-police, who understands the value of knowing your job inside and out. Sorry to see you go, Ryan. Scott said, as I signed the documents. This doesn't feel right. It's just business, Scott. Bad business, but business nonetheless. I drove home in my pickup truck, windows down, classic rock on the radio. I should have been angry, but mostly I felt like I was watching a disaster movie where you know the asteroid is going to hit, but the characters haven't figured it out yet. My phone started buzzing around 10:30 a.m. Text from Eric Torres, one of the payroll clerks. Ryan, Stephanie's spreadsheet is showing weird numbers. My overtime calculation says I worked negative hours last week. Then another text from Danny Walsh in the Phoenix office. Dude, according to this payroll report, I make $847 an hour as a concrete finisher. I wish, by 11 a.m., my phone was lighting up like a Christmas tree. Guys from all over our territory were checking their pay stubs in the employee portal, and nothing made sense. Employee ID numbers were getting mixed up with social security numbers. Job classifications were scrambled. Crane operators were showing up as office clerks. Concrete finishers were listed as executives. The funniest one came from Tony Ramirez, a foreman in El Paso. Ryan, my pay stub says I worked 2,847 hours last week and my net pay is $12,000. Did I rob the company or did the company rob me? I could picture exactly what had happened during the data import. Stephanie had mixed up the column headers. Employee ID numbers were being used as hours worked, and hours worked were being treated as pay rates. Excel was trying to calculate wages using social security numbers as multipliers, but the real disaster was still coming. The weird numbers in the employee portal were just the appetizer. The main course would be served at noon when the bank tried to process Stephanie's payroll file for electronic deposits. At 11:45 a.m., my phone rang. It was Jennifer from HR. Ryan, her voice was tight with panic. We need to talk. Stephanie's payroll file is showing some irregularities. Irregularities? According to her calculations, we owe the federal government $2.3 million in tax withholdings this week. But we only collected $180,000 from employee paychecks. I pulled into my driveway and sat in the truck, listening to Jennifer explain how Stephanie's Excel model had managed to create what was essentially a mathematical black hole. Also, Jennifer continued, the bank is questioning why we're trying to direct deposit $47,000 to one concrete mixer in Albuquerque, while simultaneously deducting $23,000 from a crane operator's pay for something called equipment rental recovery fees. Has anyone told Jason yet? He's in meetings all day. Stephanie said she could fix it. Famous last words. I'd heard them before from every overconfident rookie who thought they could patch a sinking ship with duct tape and good intentions. Jennifer, I said, you might want to cancel those meetings. By 2 p.m., Southwest Construction Solutions wasn't a construction company anymore. It was a disaster zone. The bank had rejected Stephanie's payroll file so hard, it probably left scorch marks on their servers. According to their automated response, we were attempting to transfer invalid amounts to invalid accounts using invalid routing protocols. The employee portal had crashed under the weight of 12,000 workers trying to figure out why their pay stubs looked like they'd been written by a drunk accountant having a nervous breakdown. Some guys were showing overtime rates of $847 an hour. Others had negative salaries and somehow owed the company money for the privilege of working there. But the real fireworks started when the union got involved. Big Tony Sullivan has been representing construction workers for 25 years. He's built like a linebacker, talks like a truck driver, and has zero patience for corporate nonsense. When his guys don't get paid, Tony doesn't send strongly worded emails. He shuts things down. By 3 p.m., Tony was standing on the back of a pickup truck outside our main office with a megaphone, and equipment trucks were lining up behind him. Southwest Construction Solutions thinks they can play games with working people's paychecks. His voice boomed across the parking lot. If they can't figure out how to pay us, maybe we should stop working for them. The wildcat strike spread faster than gossip at a high school reunion. Phoenix sites shut down first, then Albuquerque, then the highway project outside Denver. By 4 p.m., every Southwest Construction Solutions job site in 4 states had gone quiet. 12,000 workers sitting in their trucks, posting videos on social media, calling local news stations. The footage was beautiful in a tragic sort of way. Aerial shots of idle construction sites, interviews with workers holding pay stubs that made no mathematical sense, union reps explaining to reporters how a company that builds half the infrastructure in the Southwest couldn't figure out basic payroll. My phone kept buzzing with updates from Scott and the other guys still inside the building. Stephanie's locked herself in the conference room. Scott texted. She's been trying to fix her spreadsheet for 3 hours, but every time she changes something, it breaks something else. Another text. Jason's been screaming at IT support all afternoon. Apparently Stephanie deleted the original data when she tried to reload the file. That made me chuckle. Of course she did. When you're panicking and something's not working, the natural impulse is to start over. But when you start over in Excel without backing up your work, you lose everything. Stephanie had just erased the only copy of the raw payroll data, and the backup systems only worked if someone who knew what they were doing had set them up properly. The news coverage that night was something else. Channel 7 led with construction giants' payroll meltdown leaves thousands unpaid. They interviewed Tony Sullivan, who didn't mince words. This company thought they could replace a guy who'd been doing this job for 8 years with some kid and a computer program. Now they're learning the difference between knowing how to do something and thinking you know how to do something. Channel 12 ran a human interest piece about Maria Gonzalez, a single mother whose 3 kids were asking why daddy didn't bring home groceries this week. The camera panned across empty job sites while the reporter explained how a routine system upgrade had gone catastrophically wrong. But my favorite was the business segment on Channel 5, where some analyst was explaining how this kind of operational failure could cost Southwest Construction Solutions millions in lost productivity, union penalties, and potential lawsuits. The anchor asked if this was a sign of broader problems in the construction industry, and the guy just shook his head and said, "No, this is what happens when you replace expertise with overconfidence." Tuesday morning, I was sitting on my back porch drinking coffee and reading news articles about our payroll crisis when my phone rang. Jason Bennett, Ryan, his voice sounded like he'd been gargling gravel. "We need to talk." "Morning, Jason. Saw you on the news last night. Nice interview. I especially liked the part where you said the problems were caused by unforeseen technical complications during a routine system upgrade." Cut the jokes. The state labor board is opening investigations in 4 states. The union is talking about a class action lawsuit. The bank froze our operating accounts because our payroll file made their fraud detection system think we'd been hacked. Sounds like quite a situation. I need you to come back. Consulting basis. Name your price. I'd been waiting for this call since Friday afternoon. $15,000 cash up front, plus a new contract at double my old salary. Done? I'm not finished. I want a public apology from you and Stephanie posted on the company website, admitting that the payroll problems were caused by premature implementation of an inadequate system. Long silence. Then fine. And one more thing. I report directly to the CIO now, not to operations. I'm done dealing with people who think Excel is enterprise software. Whatever you need, Ryan. Just fix this. I drove back to the office Wednesday morning. The parking lot still had union guys camped out, but they waved when they saw my truck. Big Tony Sullivan walked over as I was getting out. "Ryan, tell me you're here to save our asses." "Working on it, Tony. You guys should see some action by Thursday morning." "What about back pay for the time we've been sitting here?" "Every penny, with overtime for the guys who were scheduled to work." I walked into the building like I owned it, because for the next few days I basically did. The server room felt like coming home after a long trip. I fired up my workstation and started digging through the wreckage Stephanie had left behind. It was worse than I'd expected. She hadn't just corrupted the payroll data. She'd managed to lock the database tables, create circular references in the tax calculation modules, and somehow convince the system that we employed 847,000 people named Error. But here's the thing about real backups versus the kind of backups people think they have. I'd been running shadow copies on a separate system that Stephanie didn't even know existed. While she was playing with her Excel formulas, the real data was safely stored on redundant drives in a climate-controlled environment. It took me 18 hours of solid work, but I rebuilt everything from the archived transaction logs. I had to recreate the week's timesheet data from the individual site reports, recalculate all the tax withholdings, and rebuild the federal compliance reports that had gotten corrupted when Stephanie's spreadsheet went haywire. By Thursday morning, I had a clean payroll file ready for the bank. I double-checked every calculation, ran the compliance reports, verified the bank routing information, and tested the electronic transfer protocols. I hit the transmit button at 6 a.m. The electronic funds transfer went through without a hitch. 12,000 workers would wake up to find their correct paychecks waiting, plus overtime pay for the days they'd lost sitting in parking lots. Friday morning, I walked into Jason's office. He looked like he'd aged 10 years in a week. "It's done," I said. "Everyone's been paid correctly, including compensation for the strike days." "Thank you," he said quietly. "Where's Stephanie?" "Reassigned to marketing research." Turns out family connections only go so far when you cost the company millions of dollars and nearly trigger a federal investigation. "And your new office?" Jason gestured toward the corner office with the windows overlooking the equipment yard. "All yours. I had them put in a new coffee machine." I walked to my new desk and sat down in the leather chair. Through the window, I could see the construction sites coming back to life, cranes moving, trucks rolling out with full crews, the steady rhythm of honest work resuming. My phone buzzed with a text from Scott. "Heard Stephanie's working in marketing now. Think she can handle calculating ad impressions." I opened my desk drawer and pulled out the bottle of good bourbon I'd been saving for a special occasion. This qualified. The website apology went live that afternoon. Jason and Stephanie's joint statement admitted that operational disruptions were caused by premature implementation of inadequate systems without proper testing or oversight. They thanked me for my critical expertise and professional dedication in resolving complex technical challenges. Sometimes the old ways are the best ways. Sometimes experience trumps innovation. And sometimes when corporate tries to fix what isn't broken, they learn the hard way that some jobs require more than just an MBA and an Excel spreadsheet. I poured a shot into my coffee mug and raised it toward the window, where real workers were doing real work that mattered. Here's to keeping the beast running and making sure working people get what they've earned. That's worth drinking to. You can replace a lot of things in this world, but you can't replace the guy who actually knows how the machinery works when everything falls apart. There's a difference between managing spreadsheets and managing people's livelihoods, and that difference shows up real quick when the rent is due.